Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. So the video today is on this 2012 Peugeot 208. I'm not sure which engine is on this. I'm just literally about to move the car. I just came from test driving the Insignia, though you might have seen a video for it. I don't even know if it's going to make into a video, but we'll see. And I just want to put this Peugeot where the Insignia was, and so we can work on this. But the issue with this is I don't know which engine is on this. I know it's petrol, but the issue with this is this. So engine fault, and we have a engine fault and a ESP light. This is definitely petrol. There we go. There we go. Now I'm gonna start to be adamant, well, not adamant, I'm gonna suspect that the ESP light is something on the engine that is causing the ESP light, but we'll have to obviously give it a scan and go from there. So what I'm gonna do now is just turn this around facing the garage and put the Insignia where this one is to be picked up for now. Then we'll see what we'll do with that, and then we'll scan the car and we'll go from there. Okay, so the engine on this is the 1.4 petrol. I'm not sure what the engine code is, not really important for now. One of the things I've noticed now that I've stopped the car, as you've seen, I literally just moved the car from over there where the Insignia is now to here. I had the car running for about a minute, 2 minutes, and just want to show you. I don't know if you can hear. Yeah, the cooling fans are running full speed. Is that going to be related or not? Don't know yet. Let's going to plug in the maxi sys and see if we have anything there that's going to help us. Okay, let's going to give it a scan. Let's see what the engine is moaning about. Oh dear. Right, trouble codes. And my trouble codes are, Jesus Christ. Right, oh my god. Air intake, pressure sensor, signal. Oh, get out of there. Why is it on this? Engine coolant pump, declutch actuator control, intake air temperature. These are intermittent faults. Intake, pressure signal. So this and this is intermittent, is the same fault pretty much. One is intermittent, no, sorry, lower implosive, that's short. Okay, so we have 3 faults here that shows a permanent. And why do I think this my means is going to be related? I think this coolant pump, the clutch actuator, might be the one that is causing the fan to run full speed, maybe. Intake air temperature signal. Let's go and have a look at these, some live data. Intake circuit. See if anything stands out. Outside temperature is fine. Airflow. Blah, 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 blah. So this should be about right. Well, I'm not sure if it's right or not, but doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Blah, 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 blah. Engine is off, remember that as well. Okay, don't worry about anything of these. This might be alright. Okay, problem number 1. Intake air temperature minus 41. That's a problem. So, intake air temperature. Gonna have to look at that. What was the next one? Was intake air temperature, intake air temperature. So, intake air pressure. Intake air pressure. Intake air pressure. Might be on the same sensor actually. Don't know. Engine coolant pump. Engine coolant pump. Let me just go back here. Intake air pressure. Manifold relative pressure 50 millibars. Measured relative pressure, modeled intake pressure, atmospheric pressure measured. Okay, so it's not, this is a little bit on the low, well, I'm not sure this is modeled, what the heck this means. Inactive, okay, so it's not too far out, apart from this, a manifold reference relative pressure. Not sure about that, let's gonna pause that for now. And then the other one was declutch, something on the coolant. Program engine torque, driving, engine environment maybe. Outside temperature, coolant temperature, control thermostat, coolant temperature reference value, coolant pump actuator, control the alternator temperature. So I'm guessing it's gonna have some sort of valve. Is that for the thermostat? Is that an electric thermostat maybe? Coolant temperature. I'm driving. Go quickly through some live data, see coolant temperature. Okay, see if there's anything here that my clutch information, control engine status, coolant temperature. Okay, so that's fine. Right, nothing like a good visual inspection. But just before that, let's just make sure. I do believe this ESP is going to be related to the engine issues. Okay, that's fine. Let's just see what this is moaning about. Okay, so there we go. So, no communication with engine ECU. Data invalid. So this is not saying there's no communication with the engine ECU. What it's saying is the data is invalid. So it's the faults on the engine ECU that are causing the ESP to obviously go offline or be inhibited, whatever way you want to put it across. So we don't need to worry about this ESP problem. All we need to worry about is about the engine issues. Okay, so this is the 1.4 petrol engine from Peugeot. So with the valve lifting system, variable intake and exhaust. Okay, looks like something has been replaced here. Right, so yeah, definitely there's some marks here. Is this scrapyard marks? Is this engine being replaced then? Okay, so I can see wires exposed. I'm gonna be able to see it. Can you see in there exposed wires? Focus. There we go. Can you see there? There we go. So exposed wires there. Not really sure where they have been rubbing, to be fair with you. They've been rubbing. Whoa! Where is this from? What? Okay. So a problem here. Not sure where that's supposed to go. Not really sure where that's supposed to go. Not really sure. Right guys, I think what I'm gonna do is just carry on searching and see. Oh, definitely that valve in there. I don't know if that's the thermostat. I don't know if you can see it. It's definitely brand new. It's too clean to be. Yeah. So I think it's going to be that. So that's been replaced. And look, things out of place. Look at that again. Oh, this is broken actually, but it could have been put in there. Okay. Right. Let's dig into this, guys. There's nothing else we can do. Let's kind of dig into this and find where that's supposed to connect. And dig into that area, which is something to do with the coolant valve, whatever that is. I think it's the thermostat is what it means. It's an electronic thermostat by the looks of it. And look for this intake temperature. That is really minus 41. So that's what we're going to do. Right, guys. I know it's a little bit of a moaning here, but I rant. But I hate people that works on cars and do these things like... nothing is being put in place. So there's a hole in there, there's a pin on this, and this is supposed to go on that hole and slide into there. This is just left like this. Man, oh, it's so frustrating. Why? How hard it is to just put things back where they were before. Seriously, why? Guys, if you work on cars, make sure you put everything where they're supposed to be. Because when you leave things out of place, that's when they start rubbing against stuff, and that's, over time, that's when issues start to happen from, a lot of the times, from this type of job. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, and quite quickly, and after a lot of ranting, I found, I believe, all the issues with this thing. So apart from that one, I haven't investigated that disconnected plug. But guys, to start with, and I'm just going to mention this one more time. So to start with, this engine 100% has been replaced. It didn't belong to this car. I've seen many things that shows that this engine was not from here. One is that 44K to start with. But second is things like, for example, there's a clip here on this loom, that which obviously was clipped underneath here. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see in there, the original clip, you can see there probably, is still there, you see? Which means obviously this is the original loom from the car, and then when they took the engine from the scrapyard, they just ripped the loom and they left the cable holder in there. So there's two cable holders there in the same place. This is another sign that the engine has been replaced. And then you can see other bits and bobs, but one of the things I've noticed straight away is, so I unplugged the thingy from that thermostat here, which I believe is an electrical thermostat, and the plug is here, and I wanted to see this. There we go, look at that. Hopefully it's just a poor contact that we have here. Okay, so we're gonna clean this and maybe dismantle the plug and see how good or bad it is. So that's problem number one for this thingy, for the coolant. Then for the air pressure and intake temperature, I don't know how well I'm going to be able to record this, but to capture this, but I'm going to try to put the camera right. Can you? No, you can't. How am I going to show you these, guys? I'm going to try and do my best to show you this, so you don't think I'm... Oh, come on, the phone is charging as well. Let me try to put it like so. Okay, so let me see if I can hold it here and get the light to show you this. Look at... No, I'm not going to be able to show you. I'm not going to be able to show you this. Right, let me try something. Right, can you see that plug? I'm sure you can. And I'm sure you can also see that plug. See if I'm going to be able to show you this. Well, I'm looking at the camera a little bit tricky. What am I looking at here? This plug was not pushed in. So that plug was not pushed in. So let's kind of push that plug back in. Clean. Where is that thing now? Dismantle this and clean it. Put it all back together. Try to look around there where that plugs in, and then we'll go from there. Looks like it's going to be an easy one. So hope I don't jinx it. Okay, another thing, just nothing is in place. Everything is. This U is just here rubbing on these grounds at the bottom. Jesus Christ! Right, but there's a reason why that plug didn't plug in. It's because this is the wrong sensor, and that's why it was not pushed in. No. Because you wouldn't go in. So this is definitely the wrong sensor, wrong head. So we're gonna have to get the right one. So someone... Right, I'm not gonna say anything else. And just like magic, I actually had a spare one. And it looks like a brand new one. I don't even know where this came from. But I do have one here. I'm not sure if it's the right one. So I'm gonna try to cross-reference this part number. See if it's the right one. It definitely plugs in. As you can see, the complete... Actually, let me show you that this is the difference between the heads. Turn the light on. So let me just show you. So this was the one that was there. These are all the spare ones I have. So this was the one that was in there. And this is the one. This is the one that plugs in. There we go. Okay. So just let me make sure that this fits in there. If it does, oh well, we'll just proceed. Okay, so there it is. It's not in very good shape, but it's a little bit corroded. But if we clean it, and then I will clean it with one of these needle files. Where do I have the thinner one? That one. I'll clean the inside like so. Oh, in and out. This is like a needle file. We'll just clean the inside. So yeah, we're gonna have to clean all of this. So let's go do it and see how it comes out in the end, and then put it all back together. Okay, and I actually ended up taking both out because obviously this one is cleaned, but this one was not much better, to be fair with you. So I might just clean both, remove all of this crap, and then clean the inside. Hopefully it was just a poor connection due to these greenies. And hopefully it was no other issues anywhere. So happy with this. Now I'm just going to press the plates inside so the plug grabs properly into the pin. So we're going to lift this little bit here and get this tiny screwdriver, oops, and push these plates inside all the way down. That's it. Pull this down again. Just make sure it went down. Yeah, I'm not going to push these back in because I don't want to force the pin again. And now we're going to use a little bit of dielectric grease onto this and then put everything back in place. Okay, let me clean this here, take this rust, this corrosion here as well from these things. There we go. So the purple was the first one. Actually, let me get the dielectric grease before we put this back in. Okay, so that's going to put a little bit right here at the bottom. Let's just do this around the pin. Where did I put the connector now? Oh, come on. Oh, there. It's here. So purple was on the side, like so, and then this one. Yeah, they're all pushed in. So we can close the plug. Just push this weather seal a little bit so there's no force in it. That's it. Right, let's gonna finish this. Okay, and this is how far I had to get. So the wire that was loose here, I should have thought about it earlier, is actually from the coolant pump. So the coolant pump is this thing here. I didn't have to remove the liner, but it's this thing here that runs off the crank pulley. Okay, and the plug, oh man, I'm not going to be able to show you this, but I'll do my best. So that runs from here, and there's a driving thing that goes all the way up there, and that plug's right at the top of it. So that's the cooling pump. There's a plug in there that I believe is to flush the system or to bleed the pump maybe, and right at the top, that's where it connects. So that's now all connected, and I think we should be good now to start the car and see what happens before I put these pipes back in, these hoses here, the intake. The car will run absolutely perfect, will run absolutely okay without it. So I just want to try that and see if we got rid of the faults. Okay, and just finished routing some of these pipes here. They were all twisted, all mixed up, no on the brackets, so all done as well. So it's going to do what I've just said. Okay, so I'm not going to even scan the car just yet. Let me turn this headlight off. So let's gonna start this thing just like that. Okay, so as you can see, looks like the ESP light is gone, and I haven't even cleared any codes, so that's a good sign. So let's gonna turn it off, turn it back on, engine off. Let's just clear these faults now. First, let's see if there's any faults that's still active. I'm interested to see. So some of the faults are gone. We have an issue with that okay, I still have the fans running full speed, which is not very good. We still have that fault in there. Why do we still have that fault? Air pressure. Unless, oh man, I hope that is not the wrong sensor. Let me just go to, where was that? I think it was here, intake air pressure. Let me see if we have readings in there now. But there's nothing here for pressure, which is a little bit odd. Oh no, there is. Relative pressure, of course there is. Where is that? Intake air pressure. Air temperature. Intake air temperature, there we go. Now we have a reading from there. Not sure why it's doing that. And I don't know why the fans, I mean, I know why. Okay, so the engine light's gone off. But I can hear the fans running. I can definitely hear the fans running, I'm sure I can. And there's a leak on this exhaust as well. The flexible is split. Yeah, the fans are definitely running. Oh no, no, they are stopping. Look, it stopped. No, the fans are off. Right, no, the fans are off. Is this a good sign? Is this a good sign? So let me just turn it off. Now the fans are still kicking in full speed. Why is this doing this? Let me... Intake air pressure, signal pressure, too low or implausible. Oh man, will that be the wrong? We don't have the other faults anymore, which is good. I don't want to do the old pump actuator. Coolant pump actuator, electrically controlled. So now the fans are running. Why are the fans running? It makes no sense whatsoever. Let me just think a little bit. Right, could it be because of this fault on the BSI? Low pressure safety fault signal. Safety fault signal. Low pressure safety fault signal below tolerance range. There's no freeze frame. Local, blah blah. Okay, will it be because of this? Right. So they stopped now. And go back to the engine ECU. Just want to see. What have I done? I pressed the wrong place, didn't I? I think this is all. The ECU must be the original, so we're not gonna worry too much with this. Just see if that there's a thing here to test that pump. Oh yeah, I can definitely hear it. But this shouldn't be. Listen to the pump started. This is a pump running somewhere. I'm not too worried about now. Let's just oh yeah, I can hear something here actuating. Don't know if you can hear it, but have you heard that? Yeah, definitely this. Again, yeah, so I could definitely hear something going on in there. So obviously we connected the cable, so there was no reason for not to actuate. Now, will these be the fans running? I don't think this intake pressure would do anything. I just don't know why it's coming up with that fault still. There's nothing here to do any resets or any sort of special function. Initialize, parts replacement, other parts. Is there anything here for intake pressure sensor? Right, let's gonna do that. Do not start the engine before perform this operation. Any temperature must be below 30. It probably is anyway. I have another engine running for long. IC must be off. There's some connected to the power supply. Above 12. Okay. Let's press OK. Okay. Let's put this thing again. 65 1 65 170. Okay. Okay. Ignition off. Okay, let's gonna finish this procedure, see if we can get rid of that fault or not, and try to understand why the fans are still running, because that's one thing that doesn't make a lot of sense unless it's to do with that AC pressure fault. We'll have to see if it is or not. I do know for a fact that some cars, they do behave a little bit weird or they can do this sort of stuff when there's no AC pressure, when there is issues with the AC pressure. So we'll have to try to figure that out. Okay, so did that reset. The engine is now here running. It has to run the engine up to temperature, which it is now. Still no faults, everything looks good. I've just been here through my live data, and as you can see, yeah, low fuel. Surprise, surprise. As you can see, the reference pressure is 50 millibars. The measured relative pressure is pretty much matching that, so looks like the car is happy with that. The only thing I want to see now is, let me see if I can see something here for 4.4. Let me see if I find something here for the air pressure, for the AC air pressure. And that was quick. 2.3 bars. Doesn't seem too bad, to be fair with you. 2.3 bars should be about right. That's strange. Let me see if the fans are still going to kick in. There they go. Let me go to the BSI, see if I can clear those codes as well. I'm going to try to dig a little bit into this, see if I find anything. I'll get back when I do find. Okay, and the last clip that you've seen was about 2 days ago. Yesterday, being at the Auto Mechanica in Birmingham with Igor from Cars Exposed, and met a few people in there, as you might have seen from my community post. Yeah, really nice afternoon. What was supposed to be a full day, but that's a different story, not for this video. So today, this morning, I've been doing a service on a new used car that my neighbor just bought. He asked me to do a full service on it, which I've been doing. But in the meantime, I've been here working on this for about an hour now, maybe a little bit more actually than an hour. And I've done some progresses off camera, which I'm now going to take you through, and listen careful, because sometimes these things are important. It's in the details. The devil is in the details. Right, so after the last clip, I'm not sure now if I showed you on the last clip or the previous one where I've showed you the map pressure. So the map pressure, if I haven't showed you, I'll explain to you, but I'll go through all of that in a second. But the map sensor, pressure sensor difference or something like that was showing me 50 millibars, but was fluctuating between 50 and 40. It was like 40, 50, 40, 50. And I was not sure what value I should be seeing there, because there's no pressure and there's no turbo or anything like that on this car. I'm guessing that the value should be a little bit below the atmospheric pressure, because you have the suction from the engine is pulling air, so you're going to have a vacuum in the intake manifold rather than a pressure. And I think that's why it's measuring that difference. But the truth is, after I've showed you that, I don't know if I showed you that or not. If not, I do apologize. I've checked that. But when I went back, oh, that's the thing. A few cycles on and off. Then I was trying to figure out the air conditioning, and a few cycles with the ignition on and off, the engine light came back on, and I thought, that's weird now. When I scanned the car, for my surprise, a P019 something. For intake pressure too low or signal incorrect or something like that was there. And the truth is, the code would not go away. So I think the code was there from the beginning, but because I didn't went back onto reading the codes on the engine ECU, I didn't knew the code was there. And I think the code doesn't throw the engine light straight away. It looks like it needs to go through a few ignition cycles, or you need to start the engine a few, or driving cycles, I'll say. I never drove the car, but I had the car here started and stop and started and stop, because I was trying to check if the fans would come on after you turn the engine off. So after a few cycles, the light came back on. That's when I scanned the car, and the code was still there. So because I was not 100% sure that the sensor I put in there is the correct one, and I think from the Mercedes, we learned a very good lesson. Just because it fits doesn't mean it's the correct thing. But also because I had no idea why that sensor was on the box, which looks like a brand new sensor. I didn't know why it was there. Could be a brand new sensor that is faulty. Could be something that I don't even know, guys. I should mark these things. I know, my bad. I don't. But anyway. So what I've done is when I went to pick up my girls at my oldest one at 3 o'clock, I actually went and I bought a brand new Bosch sensor for this car. And for my surprise, or maybe not for my surprise actually, the part number is different. So actually I'll show you on the sensor. So this is the new sensor. Well, the new sensor is already plugged in. This is the sensor that I put in there. I don't know if I showed you this back in the video. If I didn't, I'll show you now. So this was the sensor that I put in there. Oh, come on, focus. So come on. So this is the sensor I put on the car. And as you can see, the Bosch number is 230252, and the new one is a 254. Actually, I'm going to put here on the side a picture that I took from the new sensor before I installed it. And as you can see, the part numbers are completely different. Well, not completely, but the last three numbers, or the last number actually, on the Bosch part number is different, 254. But then on the V number at the bottom, as you can see, is this one is a 906. And as you can see, the new one I bought in is a 905. The truth is, I installed the sensor, and I'm going to show you now. I installed the sensor, came back, cleared the codes, and the codes were gone straight away. So as I'm going to show you now, I'm going to scan the car, and as you can see, no faults found. Now, there is a reason why I have these here. The car is just going into economy mode. That doesn't really matter. There's a reason why I got this. Because Jackbox, like a lot of the OEM tools, they will give you more information, and sometimes you need that information because you don't know everything. So the reason why I got this tool, one was to confirm what pressure I should have on that map sensor. So if I go to mixture, and I'm gonna actually start the engine. Actually, before I start the engine, let me come down here and I'll show you this. I think he's on this intake. No, his mixture. No, I don't think he's here now. He's not here. That the live data for that thing is a thing that says intake inlet circuit. So that's the one. Sorry guys, I know I'm not showing you a lot, am I? Because this is absolutely terrible. Okay, maybe like so. A little bit better. So when you come here to measured pressure, I'm going to bring this down. So, is these two values here? So, reference, look, reference, relative. I'm going to stop or now? Right, so, it says in there, reference relative pressure in the manifold. It fluctuates between 40 and 50, and that's the reference. That's what the engine wants to see. And then underneath, it says measured relative pressure in the manifold. It says 1010 millibars, which is atmospheric pressure. I'm gonna have to put the camera somehow so we can all see these a little bit better, guys. I do really apologize. But the beauty of this tool is that when you press on any value here, I'm gonna press on this value here, it gives you right there at the bottom an explanation of what you should be getting. Look, difference between the atmospheric pressure measured by the ECU and the manifold pressure measured by the sensor. And then if I bring this down, where is the... I need to improve the quality of my videos in this way. And as you can see in there, engine not running, ignore the value shown. Engine running at steady speed, the value should be approximately 50 millibars. Okay, so that tells you exactly what values you should get here. This was also helpful, or is going to be helpful later on, which I'll show you. But yeah, so that's how I knew what value I should have. But as soon as I put the new sensor, the fault code, I'm actually going to start the engine. You can see engine light will go off, no problems. And as you're going to see there on my live data, bang on 50 millibars. And the beauty is, with the engine running here like this, at idling, look at that, See, 40, 50. It fluctuates a little bit between 40 and 50 as well. It does exactly the same as the other sensor is doing on the live data, but for some reason the other sensor was constantly throwing a fault for the map sensor for a reason that I don't have a clue why. And only the new sensor, I will scan the car once more now that the engine is running, for a reason that I don't know why. As you can see, no faults found. So now that we have this problem sorted, we're going to go into the air conditioning problem. And for the air conditioning, and one of the reasons why I got this tool, which was really helpful, was to come here. Let me show you this. Let me turn the ignition on. So first of all, oh sorry, it was to try to understand what pressure. Hold on a second. Hey girls. How was school? Good?
Yeah.
Good.
Why
Go.
are you recording?
Because I'm recording.
Okay.
Right. See you later. So, when you come down here to engine environment, you can get this value from the BSI as well, but for some reason, well, I think I know why, because my diag box is a little bit an older version, and for some reason I can't communicate with the BSI. It tells me software mismatch or software error, and it doesn't allow me to scan the BSI. So I'm going to do this here on the engine because I have that value here as well. So let me bring this down. If I could get rid of this, a little bit of the sun would be nice, wouldn't it? So if I bring this down here, so before the pressure on the aircon, if you remember, was showing 2.3 bars or something along those lines. Now I have refrigerant pressure, I have 7.1 bars. Now this is not real pressure, but was enough. So what I've done, I've simulated the aircon to have the right pressure, and I didn't know how much pressure I needed with the Max DCs. But when you come here, once again you select the live data you want, and down there it will tell you everything about it. So as you can see in there, it's absolutely terrible today. As you can see in there, aircon off for an ambient temperature of approximately 20 degrees. The volume must be approximately 6.5. Really? 6.5 bars. Okay, so I've simulated 7.1, and the method I've used, I was trying to do 6.5 bars using this, but the pipe kept popping out and it was just an impossible task to do. So the aircon is completely empty. Let me show you in there. So when I press that, nothing happens. It's completely empty. And I remove actually the pressure sensor as well, because as I said, I was trying to put 6.5 bars here, but it was just impossible. Everything kept coming off. So what I've done is I've injected in there, as you can see. So the two probes are on my voltage that comes from the ECU, and the black probe, can you see in there? And the black probe is connected to the signal wire back into the ECU. And then here I have a variable resistor. Okay, and this variable resistor, I've slowly adjusted it to show me 7.1 bars, which I think should be about right. So it says should be about 6.5. I put another half a bar, so that I thought that would be okay. And as you're gonna see now, I don't know if you've seen earlier, but if I start the engine, okay, and now I turn it off, take the key out, and as you're gonna see, the fans stay quiet because the system believes that it has 7.5 or 7 bars of pressure, or has above the required pressure, which he does have, but he doesn't, if that makes sense. So that is a little bit weird that the fans kicks in when there is no pressure, but it's a safety feature that this thing uses. And the only thing I'm going to do now, because I can't scan the BSI with the DIAC box, as I explained, I'm going to quickly connect the Maxi-Sys just to show you that safety thing should show inactive now. And that's why everything is working. So everything is going to have to do now is recharge the air conditioning. The reason why that sensor reads 2.3 bars when there is no pressure on the system, I believe that's the range of the sensor. So the sensor doesn't really read 0 bars. The range is from 2.3 bars up to whatever pressure the sensor is capable of reading. So I'm just going to quickly connect the Maxi-Sys so I can show you that live data on the BSI. And this is nearly 15 minutes of talking, which some of you absolutely hated it. So let's gonna do that so we can wrap up this video and move into the next one. Just been putting a little bit of fuel because this thing has been running with the fuel light flashing for ages. And yeah, people brings me the car literally completely dry. So I don't want this thing to run out of fuel. So let's gonna start this thing now. Should have a little bit more fuel, I think. Well, it doesn't move a lot, but Jesus, I just put 5 liters of fuel and the light is still flashing. That's funny. Alright, so let me actually turn this computer off, so I don't need it anymore. Right, let me load here the Peugeot thing. I should be in history. The history. Here we go, Peugeot 208. And the needle barely moved with 5 liters. This thing must be really dry. Right, on, hurry up. Okay, let's go to diagnosis, control unit, BSI. Okay, let's gonna go to our codes. I should have no codes now. I mean, I might have the codes for the low pressure. Okay, a lot of intermittent, but look, the AC low pressure fault signal now is intermittent, as you can see. Issue, press, and blah blah blah. So all these codes, if I delete these codes now, they will go away. Well, they should go away. I think they didn't delete because I have the engine running. Anyway, forget about this because the code will come back on as soon as I remove that resistor. So forget about that. Let's go to AC. I don't know if I showed you these live data, but if I didn't, because I can't remember now. So 7.4 bars on the refrigerant, which is fine. And then down here, no, it was not here. Was this low pressure safety. Before was saying active, and now obviously says inactive. So if I press the AC button now, that will allow me to engage the compressor. That will allow the compressor to engage. And just obviously I'm going to turn it off again to show you the fans are off. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to actually engage, put the sensor back in, and then I will just, so just these, you get some readings, and then I will put the sensor back in place and all that good stuff. This one hand is a little bit tricky. There we go, it's plugged in. So that should read 2.3 bars or whatever that was. Let's just go here. Where did I put the key? That's the key in there. So now when I turn the key on. My live data shows me 1.4 bars. There we go. For some reason on the engine shows me a little bit higher, but doesn't matter. 1.4 bars. And now if I come down here, as it shows active already, no, not yet. But let me start the engine. Straight away. Low pressure safety, active. Turn it off. The fans are not coming in. I think eventually they will start coming on after you turn the engine off. Maybe it needs the engine to be running for a little bit longer. I'm not sure what the criteria is. Let me actually come out of this, because if you have the tool connected to the BSI stays awake for as long as the tool is connected to it, or it's, especially if he's reading, not if he's connected to it, if he's reading live data, it keeps the tool, the BSI awake. That's out. Interestingly enough, the fans are now not coming back on for some odd reason. Guys, I'm not really sure what the car is waiting for to turn on the fans as he was doing before, every time you switch the engine off. I had the car here now running on and off for 5 minutes at a time, then just start it up and shut it off, and he's not doing it again. So I'm not sure what the criteria is for this to happen again, but well, he's not doing it now. But even if he starts doing it again, the issue is purely the AC that is completely drained. So that's what it is. So in the end, guys, this car was pretty much fixing someone else's mess, as you might have seen, and I do believe there's something else wrong with this car, because I had the car here running until it got a little bit hot and water started to come out here somewhere at the top, and there was water running down. You can't really see it now, but there's, I don't know, maybe the gasket is putting too much pressure on this hose. Not really 100% sure. Oh well, that's not my problem now, that's someone else. The car is fixed. ESP light is off. Obviously all of that was to do with the engine faults. Engine faults. Engine is fault free at the moment, which is good. So we're just going to put these intake pipes back in and get the guy to pick up the car, and that's it for this video, guys. I will see how I'm going to edit this, especially with that glare. I really need to try to make these videos a little bit better. Maybe do some screen recording or something like that, but don't know. The information is here, guys, and that's the main thing. So with no further ado, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you learned something. If you do still have any questions, any comments, you know exactly how it works, just put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.